Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles Advance, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. So, as you guys know, this Steve Ballmer, Kawhi Leonard, all of this case with the Clippers and all of that is getting to the point where it's a bit confusing. As you guys know, Pablo Torre did some investigative journalism early in the season, and they thought that the Clippers, he basically presented the idea that the Clippers may have circumvented the salary cap to pay Kawhi Leonard more money. That's the story. Everybody knows it. And then we later on found out that the NBA was going to make a decision towards the tail end of the season. So now the season is over, and we're all waiting for a decision. And then various people are now saying that this thing could drag on all the way into the I think training camp of the next season. And then people are like, this is just crazy. Like, what the hell is going on here? Then I saw a report that Kawhi Leonard will be at training camp for the Raptors. I saw this report on X because the person said that if the NBA or the firm, that did the independent investigation into this story, if they had anything, they would have released it by now, right? So you have that. But while this story was kind of getting towards the end, a lot of people were kind of speculating, would the NBA levy a heavy penalty towards the Clippers and Steve Ballmer, who's the owner of the Clippers, and Ballmer's worth over $100 billion, the richest owner in all of sports in the world. And I was a bit skeptical of that. The reason I was skeptical is because Ballmer, he's not your average Joe, and he's not your average team owner in sports, okay? He's one of the richest people in the world. That's number one. Number two, he's the richest owner in the NBA. That's number two. Number three, when he came into the NBA and he bought the Clippers, he made a lot of money for a lot of those other franchises because the Clippers weren't a winning franchise. And when he paid the amount of money that he paid, all of the other teams' values went up. That's when Michael Jordan, I think, hit billionaire status, if I'm not mistaken, because he was a part owner of the Charlotte Hornets. So he made a lot of these guys money. And I don't just think you're just going to go up to a guy that's worth, let me check Steve Ballmer's net worth. He has to be worth 115. Steve Ballmer net worth. He's worth, as of now, $145 billion. You're just not going to go out there and make an example out of that guy like you would anyone else. And funny enough, Rob Parker said the same thing last night when I was watching The Odd Couple. He brought up the same point. So anyway, this morning, I came across an article from Awful Announcing, and they were highlighting some comments that former ESPN analyst Dan Le Batard had to make about this very story. And I'm like, he makes a lot of sound points here. But before we even get into what he had to say, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, Kachava. Now, before we continue, let me tell you something. This year, I got serious about taking care of my body, my training, my nutrition, all of it. Nothing extreme. I just wanted to take better care of myself. But my days get busy between work, moving around, taking care of my daughter, trying to go to the gym, buying groceries. Life fills up fast. And when it does, nutrition is the first thing to fall apart. I would skip meals, grab whatever was easy, and feel it by the afternoon. Then I started using Kachava's new travel pack. Just one packet gives you complete nutrition ready for life to go on. Plant-based protein, fiber, greens, vitamins, probiotics, omegas, electrolytes, and more. No artificial flavors, no sweeteners, no soy, no gluten, no preservatives, and no animal products. All the nutrition my body craves in one delicious shake, packed to go. It keeps my energy steady all day, and more importantly, it actually tastes amazing. If you have been meaning to take better care of yourself, this is the easiest place to start. Take your daily ritual with you. Go to Kachava.com and use code DREAMERS for 15% off your first order. That's Kachava, Kachava.com, code DREAMERS. Okay, perfect. So what we want to do now is going to play what was said on that show, take a listen to their comments, and then we're going to come back and continue on.
They have Shams Charania, who once reported that Donald Trump had COVID before anyone else. He is the premier insider in all of sports.
Good scoop.
He has not said pretty much anything on the Steve Ballmer front. You don't think with one phone call, Shams can get great information?
I
on
don't
the Kawhi
actually,
front?
and I'll tell you why. I don't actually, and this is the explanation for you. And I touched on it briefly yesterday, and I want to suss it out a little bit here today, okay? Because I've now talked to enough people, been sort of confused by why it's taking so long. And the reason it's taking so long is because the owners are afraid of Steve Ballmer's money. And they're afraid that the entire construct of what it is that they've built, the salary cap illusion of we're all in partnership on equity, is going to fall apart if you punish him so much that he then takes to court, hey, you don't have the right as the commissioner of the league to do all of this stuff to me just because you say. And I am alarmed that people with this kind of money are this kind of afraid of Steve Ballmer's money, because these are not unwealthy people. And the idea that Ballmer has so much money that this is taking that long makes me think that the subject matter is so complicated that Shams doesn't have actually access to the kind of information here that you would want him to have about this. I don't know how Shams does his job. I've told you guys before. I did not think that a human being would be able to do the job that Woj did. I thought there was one person on earth who could do that job that way. I was confused while it was happening at ESPN. How the hell is this guy getting all of the stories always? Like, what sense does that make that on every beat writing corner, you've got some outlet who's got a reporter dedicated full time to reporting the news in his market, and Shams comes in and takes all the news? How is it possible? How is it possible that Woj did it that way? And it's at least in part, this is not the all of it, it's at least in part because of this change that's happened throughout the information business, where all of the agents and all of the agencies are propping up one person as the information person. And so all of the information that is trafficked in the channels of power at the highest form that people want out and sometimes don't want out, he's got access to all of the relationships. But I believe that everyone listening to this would be fascinated if I explained to you, and I can't, the details of how Shams does that job. And I also believe that it'll be the way that you go to a magic show and then they explain the trick and you're like, oh, that's how they do it? That stinks. That stinks that it's that easy to fool me, because it doesn't.
Excellent. So you heard that. Then we have another article. This is from Substack.com. It says, breaking down the latest Kawhi Leonard details from another Pablo Torre report. And I'm just going to skim through this quickly because I don't want to waste too much time. But basically what it's saying, preseason awkwardness ahead. They said, amid all of this, the Raptors confirmed their preseason schedule, which includes October 10th against the Clippers in Vancouver. The idea that Kawhi Leonard could still be in the Clippers jersey while Brandon Ingram in Toronto is ridiculous. And then it goes on to essentially say that it's essentially saying that these parties are going to move on regardless of what the NBA decides to do. And by the way, Vincent, I think Goodell, I think that's his name. He did a segment. He was on Vincent Goodwill. He was on Get Up yesterday, or NBA Countdown, one of these shows. And he basically said, you should expect Steve Ballmer to aggressively fight the NBA if they levy some heavy penalties at him. Take a quick look at the video here.
If there are penalties levied on Steve Ballmer, and we know Steve Ballmer can lawyer up as well as anybody, so you have to take not just the steps of the evidence, but also protect the league and their interest in this. And just this is so unprecedented, Malika and everyone else. A top 30 player, a two-time Finals MVP, who's still pretty much effective, tilting the balance of possibly the Eastern Conference if he goes to Toronto or if he stays with the Clippers.
So you saw that there. What are my thoughts about this? Look, I don't know if Kawhi and these guys did something wrong. I sincerely don't know. But I don't think Adam Silver wants to make an enemy out of Steve Ballmer. The guy's richer than the entire league. Like, he's richer than the entire league, right? So I don't think that that's something that they would want to. I don't think he would want to do that to his richest owner. I just don't think so. And if he wants to go down that route, Ballmer can lawyer up and they can drag this thing on for years. and years and years and years and years. And my thing is, if the investigation is concluded, they should just release what they found. And according to what I'm hearing is that if these parties cannot come to an amicable agreement where they all kind of agree on the terms of what things are going to be moving forward, this thing could drag out for years, right? For years. So my take is, I'm not sure the NBA is willing to go after Ballmer like that. I'm just not sure. You just don't go over. You just don't go after guys that are worth $150 billion that's also made you and a lot of the other owners a lot of money. I just don't see it. Some people can call me a skeptic, whatever. That's just my take on it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they will. We shall see.